Hey everyone, welcome back to Taste of Victory. So since the Digimon card game is a brand spanking new game, there is a lot of questions going around about how to play and how some effects work, so I thought we'd break down the most common ones. So let's get straight to it. When evolved versus when played effects. A lot of people will ask if when played effects include when digivolved effects, and the answer to that is no. When played and when digivolved are two different keywords. When played refers to when you hardcast a Digimon straight onto the field, paying its full cost, while when digivolved is more self-explanatory, and it's when you play a Digimon on top of the previous stage of one, paying the cheaper cost of evolution. This is usually separated as a balancing mechanic. Stronger effects can be played on the when played because of the higher cost of it. End of turn memory passing. In this game, your turn ends when memory goes past 0 over to 1 on your opponent's side of the memory gauge, but a lot of people are confused on how that interacts with certain card effects. A common question is, what happens if during your turn your memory passes to your opponent but a card effect brings it back to yours? Is it still your turn or is it now their turn? The answer to this is that it is still your turn in this scenario. This is because all effects must fully resolve before the turn change actually finalizes. So in this scenario, the final resolution is the effect that will move the memory counter back towards you. And once that effect has resolved, it's back on your side, so it is still your turn at resolution. It works like this for all scenarios involving memory passing at the end of turn. So let's say, for example, you're doing a security check and you reveal Hammer Spark. If the security effect moves a memory over to your opponent's gauge, it is now their turn once that memory check has finished resolving. So if you still had security attack +2 and needed to perform the second attack, it will go through, but after that, it is your opponent's turn. Similarly, you don't just pass your turn in this game if you don't want to do anything else. You just say pass. What you are doing is you are declaring that you're passing your turn, and then you give your opponent 3 memory, and that then causes your turn to pass over to your opponent. It's a technicality, but it's an important one to note, because in the situation of, for example, the memory borrower Digimons like Metal Greymon, if you use this effect and then you pass turn, you would first give your opponent 3 memory, because that is what is passing your turn, and then you take back the memory that you used from the memory borrower. When do when attacking skills actually resolve? For this one, there are some card effects that cause confusion on when attacking skills actually go off. For example, a common question is about Lilymon's effect. When attacking, rest one of your opponent's Digimon without blocker. A lot of people will ask if you can rest a Digimon and then attack that one in this battle process, and the answer to that is no. To remember why, you need to remember the order of attack resolution and its effects. When attacking, effect resolution goes like this. Declare you are going to attack. Rest the Digimon that you are going to attack with. Choose a target that you are going to attack, and now when attacking effects will go off. If your opponent has an effect in response like blocker, they can activate it now if they choose to. And then the battle finishes. Because of the order of the attack resolution, you cannot target the Digimon that you also rested with this effect. When do you need a card on the field of the corresponding color to activate an effect? The answer to this is only for option cards. A lot of people will think that you also need a card on the field to match your tamer, but that is not the case. An easy way to remember this is that option cards are separated by a blue border as opposed to a white border like the other cards. So think of it as the blue border cards need a corresponding color on the field. And yes, your raising area does count towards this requirement. The raising area can get kind of confusing because no effects will go off in it. No Digimon effects, no Digivolve effects, yet it still counts towards your color requirement. And by raising area, I mean the breeding area, which is the term in English. I'm sorry, I've been playing the game online when it was still Japan only, so I'm just used to that term. Speaking of the breeding area, another common question I see asked is whether Digimon that come out of the breeding area have summoning sickness, which means they cannot attack the same turn that they are played. And the answer to that is no. Digimon are not technically played when brought into the game through the raising area, so if you were able to turbo it out the same turn by, say, using Mimi's effect, then yes, it would be able to attack the same turn you played it and brought it out of the raising area. And now some easy ones that I see asked all the time. What is the card size of the Digimon card game? It is standard size, so like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. Can your Digi-Egg, Digitama, whatever the English game ends up using, can that deck have different sleeves than your main deck? And the answer is yes. If your Digimon has multiple security checks and it dies in the middle of them, do the rest go off? And the answer to that is no, because the Digimon has been destroyed. And that is the questions that I see most commonly asked. So I hope this video really helped you, or if you have a friend that asks a lot of questions, hopefully I answered something, you can just direct them to this. So anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time, see you. Remember, stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.